got a diesel. And, well, they're a lot rougher and with gears and things like that. It was easy to put trucks off the line, where these are very flexible, you know. You want to slow them, you just reverse them in a notch. Coupling up was much easier. Oh yeah, always look back on the steam, yeah. Yeah, every time I smell burning coal, I just think of the days on that. How about that?
That's all right.
Bloody good.
No worries.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Oh, wonderful.
Not too many of us old steamers left.
Nah.
Harvesting sugarcane has become a highly mechanised business. As she passes through, Bundy may seem no more than a bit of huffing, puffing nostalgia, a whistle blast from the past. But for older Australians, she brings memories of a shameful time, when the story of sugar turned bitter and as dark as molasses. They called it blackbirding, hunting down South Sea Islanders, deceiving them with labour contracts they couldn't read, then bundling them off to the pitiless Queensland cane fields. Some 12,000 dismissively labelled Kanakas slaved among the sugarcane from the 1870s to the early 1900s. And when there was no further use for them, all but 1,000 were sent back, leaving a broken and stigmatised community.
My grandmother, who came from Ombai, she didn't like that word Kanaka. To her it was offensive.
It was all offensive. Bad food and shelter, new diseases they couldn't endure, and crippling work. In some years killed 1 in 7.
My grandmother came here in 1875. She was taken from the island home without any warning. She was the type of person who rose above the difficulties that she faced and saw sort of a future vision for her family.
When you've really got to have it, water is where you find it. Surely they won't mind. Nah, just a few hundred litres. Pool probably needed emptying and cleaning anyway. Yeah. And after all, everyone loves a little steam engine like Bundy. A measly bit of water? I mean, you'd hardly call the police.
Sample of your breath, which you can provide by placing your mouth over the mouthpiece here. Blow one continuous breath until I ask you to stop. Understand that? Yep. Commence blowing. Going. Stop. You're clear. 0, 0, 0. That's what you should be.
It might just be time to get out of town. There's a bit of cloud around too, a reminder that Bundy's got to press on, a reminder that the summer storms, the big wet, will soon bring rain and floods sweeping over the cane country. The big sugar holdings of the 1880s were gradually broken up and subdivided into small family farms. The sugar railway became their lifeline, carrying not just cane but mail, freight and supplies from town. Feats of rail engineering remain as monuments to the heroic status accorded the little trains for conquering in so many ways the isolation of the sugar pioneers. And that same sense of isolation still creeps over the Queensland bush come nightfall. It's lonely out here until the flames push back the darkness and the sausages start to sizzle on the fireman's shovel. These old bush comforts attract a couple of ghosts from Bundy's past into the glow of the campfire.
We noticed your Bundy train coming along the track today.
Well, Graham was telling a story about a Loco coming down that, so he come down doing about 110 kilometres. Good fun. Over the years, someone bailed off in the road, but mostly we've been told to stay with them. The safest place is on the Loco.
But if something went wrong, it was much safer to stop inside rather than get out because you had all the train coming behind you. If you jumped that side and the trucks went that side, there's a big chance you'd get killed. We had one lad killed when the engine jumped the track and the tender came off and rolled over on top of him when he jumped out.
Sugar can be a dangerous business, for wherever there's sugar cane, sooner or later there's fire.
Despite much effort being put into the spark arresters that was put onto the engines, we always managed to keep burning paddocks of cane, throwing sparks out of particularly on heavy pulls if you're pulling a big load of cane and throw a lot of, pulls the coal through, throws it out of the stack and set the place alight.
Well, a Loco going past was an excuse to get more cane cut. They usually wait till sugar was prime time and the gang was somewhere else, and here's a chance to get a block of cane cut early and at my time, at the right time, and they'd sneak around the creek bank, and when the old Loco went through, boom, up she'd go. Then the phones would ring and we'd redirect grips, cutters from other areas, and they'd come in and cut that block.
I don't think the steam engines were responsible for all the fires that occurred, but
they'd blame the Loco, yes. A lot of times it was the Loco too, but it'd have to be about a 50-50%, I think.
Cane farmers can no longer blame the locos for starting those very convenient fires. Burning the cane just before it's cut eradicates rats and poisonous snakes before the cane cutters move in. Most of the world's cane is still cut by hand, but in countries like Australia, where machines now do the harvesting, the traditional burn-off is becoming far less common. It had to happen. Sooner or later, Bundy was going to meet up with some cane wagons that needed hauling. To be honest, she wasn't too pleased.
Water crook.
But in sugar country, it's never long before the cavalry comes to the rescue.
We've used nearly 400 gallons of water from Duke to here. It's gone up to the top.
What do you think's wrong with the water?
Well, it's priming with them. The something in the water was making a bloody engine prime. So I've never seen as bad as this.
Trouble is, there's a stiff gradient just ahead.
Well, it puts your fire out, and then you could damage your crown plate. It won't blow up. That's for sure.
See if we can fill it back up again and head off and see if we can get up and over. Give it another go.
Will it make it?
Don't know, I'll tell you when we get there.
At last, steam's up. We're coming through. Clear the rails. The fun stops right here and the work begins. Hard work. And I'm sure I can, I'm sure I can, I know I can, I know I can. Well, I hope